Greetings and good afternoon from West Palm Beach, Avernia Station. Today I'm taking Brightline down to Miami in Smart class. If you missed my previous Brightline video, which went live a couple weeks ago where I rode from Miami to West Palm Beach, I suggest you check that one out. Links will be in the top right or in the description below. First thing to notice are these rental bikes that are situated in these racks here. Brightline offers rental bikes to its passengers so that they can move around on their own once they get off the train and return them to the racks once they get back on the train. Making our way into the station, we once again find some very modern looking interiors. Just like at Miami Central Station, in order to access the lounge, we have to go up escalators, and is also located above ground, as opposed to on ground level like with many other train stations used by Amtrak. To get into the lounge, you have to scan your tickets at these gates here, much like at New York's Penn Station subway. The process is quite quick, and before long, we can enter the lounge. Note that Brightline has security that you have to go through in order to get to your train to ensure that nothing bad is being brought on the trains for safety. From up here, we can get a great view of the tracks and the platforms that our trains will soon be pulling up to. After a little bit of walking, we finally reach the lounge. First thing to see in the lounge is the Mary Mary bar. Every Brightline lounge seems to have a Mary Mary bar, just like the one I experienced in Miami. Having reached the lounge, we can set our luggage down and settle in while we wait for our train. The padding on the seat is quite comfortable, making for a pleasant place to hang out while you wait for your train's departure. As we waited for our train, a freight train passed the station down below, so I decided to go do some rail fanning and film it as it passed by. Much like Amtrak does, Brightline also runs over freight-owned tracks, at least between Miami and West Palm Beach, with much of the track owned by the Florida East Coast Railroad. Freight train now gone, we still got a bit of time before our train arrives. From the lounge, we can get a great view of downtown West Palm Beach with the building standing tall outside. I had expected our train to come before boarding began, so I wondered if I was to get a shot of it coming in from the lounge. Bathrooms are offered in the lounge in case anyone needs to use them. Also offered in this lounge is this small grocery store where passengers can grab a snack or something. It's quite easy to enter it, as you only have to really stand there in order to get in, and the gates will automatically open and let you in. Offered in the store are small snack items such as Hershey's Chocolate Kisses, pretzels, Oreos, bars, and Reese's, and many more. Also offered to kids are small toy Brightline trains made of wood. I chose to grab a Hershey's Chocolate Kiss that I would have later on the train. Instead of paying at a desk, you scan your ticket at the exit here to ensure that you paid. The time slowly crept by as I waited to get a shot of our train to come. Before our train even arrived, we were asked to head down to the platform and prepare for boarding, which meant that I couldn't get any shot of the train from up here.
At the bottom of the escalator, prior to the platform. Once the train arrives at the station, we ask that you quick together your belongings as it will be a 26-minute stop before we take you to your final destination.
Just arrived at the platform by the time the gates at a local crossing were going down, the sign that a train was approaching. And here comes our train, about to take us south towards Miami. Our train grounds to a halt, the doors open, and we can now climb aboard. We once again find some very modern interiors, which would make for a very pleasant ride. For our ride to Miami, I was once again seated at a table. I'm wondering if maybe someday trying out Brightline's premium class and see what it's like, but that will have to do for another day. We soon pull out of West Palm Beach, beginning our hour and 15-minute ride back down to Miami.
So we kindly ask that you use telephones when playing audio or talking on the road. Now with us is Mark Coach 2, 3, and 4. We have brand new menu garbage waiting to service, which is the service menu. Don't hesitate to ask the train attendant of Coach 1. We also want to thank you for choosing Brightline today. We want to remind you that this train is heading southbound to Fort Lauderdale.
Now, if you haven't noticed, there is something wrong with the train's windows. It's just our luck that our train has quite a lot of ad wraps on its cars, so these ad wraps cover the windows, leaving us with a very faint and blurry view outside, which means there isn't a whole lot to see on this ride. Unlike my ride up to West Palm Beach, where I was only seated with someone for part of the trip, this time I was seated with two people for the entirety of the journey, which meant that I couldn't stretch out and get comfortable, but of course, I can respect people's space. Brightline offers outlets which can be unlocked via these mechanisms down here. It seems, however, that outlets are only accessible to window seat passengers, as I didn't see any outlets for aisle seat passengers. Outlets for aisle seated passengers would have really come in handy had they been offered. The padding on the armrest is nice, and they fold up to allow for easy entrance and egress. headrest and the rest of the seat is quite comfortable, making for a very pleasant place to hang out on your train ride. The seat can recline via this little button here. The seat reclines via stretching out, so there is no chance of it getting in the way of the passengers behind you. Above the seat are reading lights which can be controlled via the buttons right next to them, but there are still no air vents, and I really wish that Brightline offered air vents, which would have been a huge upgrade from Amtrak's fleet. There is also a glass wall between each seat, which provides for some good isolation if people want it. We passed through a number of small towns as we headed south, but the low visibility out the window was quite annoying and it made it very hard to film. I occasionally managed to get okay shots with the camera focused on what's outside rather than on the screen. However, it would have been much better had there been no ad wraps covering the window. There was a bit of free space in the window with no ad wrap covering it. However, it was so small I could hardly see a thing through it. Pretty much all I could see through that small crack was the ground, and I couldn't see anything else. This low visibility through the window has made for a less than perfect ride with Brightline, and it would have been much more perfect had there been better views. We soon make our next stop in Fort Lauderdale, and I was on the right side of the train to get a good shot had it not been for this ad wrap problem. A couple of passengers get on and off the train, and we soon continue on our way. The ad wraps again made it hard to see, but a freight train passed us on the other track. My phone started to run low on charge, so I figured it was time to put these Brightline outlets to use. Overall, I'd say the outlets have proven themselves to be quite effective. We soon make our penultimate stop in Aventura, and if it had not been for this ad wrap thing, I would have been able to get a better view of the platform than last time.
For the safety and comfort of our guests, please follow all those signs, code of common policies and trends and instructions. As a reminder, smoking or vaping is strictly prohibited on all Brightline property. Lastly, loud noises or voices may disturb those around you and interfere with.
train approached the end of the line, we began packing up and getting ready for arrival. Making our way in, we waited at the door, which also had the window covered with ad wrap on it. We soon began making our way into Miami Central Station, with the tracks of the Miami Metro soon showing up and running just under the tracks of Brightline. About an hour and 15 minutes after West Palm Beach, we finally made it back into Miami Central Station, and we can now disembark. Hopping off the train, it's clear why we couldn't see, because the ad wraps, as you can see, are covering the windows. Before heading into the station, it's time to walk to the front of the train and get a look at that beautiful Siemens Charger SCB40 that led us here. Brightline owns a series of equipment built by Siemens Mobility, which is set in Sacramento, California. Amtrak is also currently ordering a lot of equipment from Siemens Mobility, including Siemens Chargers and venture cars, to replace much of their current fleet. At the front of the train is Siemens Charger SCB40 number 106. While I've scorned much of the Charger family, the SCB40s look great, and that's really saying something for someone who's not a big fan of the Siemens Chargers in general. The sleek design of the SCB40s makes them look so streamlined and fit for high-speed passenger rail. They only reach 125 miles per hour though, but that's way better than nothing. The paint, combined with the streamlined front nose, makes them some of the best looking locomotives in the United States. Plus the Brightline lettering on the tip of the nose just looks so gorgeous. And with that, we can head inside Miami Central Station, where we'll end today's video. In the next video, I'll be back in Los Angeles, California for a ride on Amtrak Sunset Limited and Texas Eagle from Los Angeles to Austin. I hope you're ready for my first ever overnight train trip, because this is gonna be a big one. Anyways, if you enjoy my videos, I suggest you like and subscribe. I have a lot of cool adventures coming up, such as the one next week, so stick around so you don't miss them. Anyways, that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed the ride, and I will see you all next time. Take care.